Marian, I'm really curious to hear a little bit more about your story. How did you get started as a health coach?
Okay. Well, I'll give you a shortened version. I have always been interested in health and healing, and I would say my own healing has been a really big part of that. And then naturally, I wanted to help other people as I became more and more whole and grounded in myself. And looking back, I would say that there was always a theme of becoming more aligned with nature. Um, I like to be outdoors. I felt inspired by nature. I had empathy for animals, from when I was a really young child. And I really saw people as part of nature. And I wanted to grow and thrive, and I wanted to see people around me do that too. So um, I said I would make this quick. I became a body worker, like a massage practitioner, when I was in my late 20s at Esalen Institute. And I loved doing that work. And then I heard about Chinese medicine, which is a very holistic approach to human health. And it sees humans as part of nature. So I love that. And it's very strongly into preventative medicine. I love that. So I became an acupuncturist, Chinese medicine practitioner. It's been 24 years I've been doing that. And then about 10 years ago or so, I heard about wellness coaching, and I had been frustrated with a lot of my acupuncture clients because I felt like what they needed was the preventive medicine, the self-care, and that they weren't getting support for that. And I could only support them a little bit in their acupuncture um, treatments with me, and I wanted to do more. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll study some coaching and learn how to work with people to help them grow healthier lifestyle habits.
Mm,
Yeah, so
wow.
the basics.
Yeah. And it sounds like you've alluded a little bit to like an areas of health that are most important to you. Um, because health coaching is it's a very broad field. So curious to hear more about, what is your particular focus or specialty within coaching?
Yeah, so I would say that I coach mostly people who want to eat a plant-based diet. I made a transition in 2007 to plant-based, and that's a whole other story. Um, and I'm not perfectionistic about how people eat. I think that our bodies are highly adaptable. People can eat some animal products and be healthy. I really, I just want people to find the way to eat that supports their health. Um, and of course, every aspect of self-care matters, how we move our bodies, how we work with ourselves around our emotions and our thoughts, the relationships we have with other people. So we're very integrated systems. There's nothing that isn't part of lifestyle in a way, that isn't part of our well-being. So I like to work wherever somebody is at and help them improve their self-care.
Mm. And most of the people you're working with are eating primarily a plant-based diet, and then you also guide them to have a healthy lifestyle overall.
Yeah, exactly. So I work, I would say, with two different types of people who just want to eat more plants, get more plants on their plate for whatever reason. And then people who may be pretty happy with their predominantly plant-based diet, but they want to get healthier by eating more wholesome foods, or also up-leveling their other lifestyle habits. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So there's both, like the group of people who want to focus maybe a little bit more on nutrition and eating more plants, and then people who are already eating a plant-based diet and want to have that broader look at their overall health.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you work with these people? Do you give them meal plans and recipes? What can someone expect if they work with you?
Okay, so I would say that the most important part is sometimes people think of health coaching as pushing themselves. And what's really important to me is that you feel gently challenged. You know, you feel like you're just growing at a level that feels good to you. So it's not about me pushing you, and it's not about you pushing you. So I get people more grounded in what's important to them in their whole lives. And then it's up to us to cultivate the conditions so that they can express more of that in their lives. And usually they have a particular outcome they're looking for, like they're trying to lower their hemoglobin A1C or their cholesterol or something like that, or lose a little belly fat. And then there's a process of experimentation where they try out different behaviors for a week and see how it goes. And we always reflect and learn from those experiments. That's an important part that people often don't give themselves if they're just on their own and they don't have a coach. There's so much we can learn when we reflect on what's happening, what's really happening, and what does that tell me about how I want to move forward. So things like meal plans or recipes, I might share resources as they're relevant. There's so much of that online. I don't feel like I need to provide that as well. I do more of the, you know, the helping people do what it is that they want to do.
So how do you help people, identify and express what's really important to them? And then, how do they relate that, to having a healthy lifestyle?
Really good question. So, yeah, so I'm basically helping them bridge between the things that are important to them and how they take care of themselves. And there's many ways that they can basically apply what's important to them to how they're taking care of themselves. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of my methodology. So I have, as I see it, we all contain inner resources. I like to call them our inner natural resources because they are quite natural. And these are your values, your passions, your purpose in life, if you feel like you have one, and your strengths, the things you're good at, even your skills. And so, to varying degrees, we're living those things or we're not so much living those things. And so, the upper level view of this is that I help you grow your awareness of those, and apply those and engage those things in your life for your own benefit. And it turns out the benefit of the people around you who you care about. So as I see it, our consumer culture is distracting us with media, tempting us with too much food, and it takes us away from our true needs and these values that we all hold. And it's kind of like a David and Goliath story, that the culture is the Goliath, and we need to really be clever and draw upon our resources in order to basically subdue the culture. I would say really shift it ultimately is what we're trying to do, for our own benefit and our children's benefit. So I see that life is this incredible opportunity to live our values, engage with the world, and give our gifts to the world. And we don't have this opportunity isn't going to last forever. So self-care is like the foundation of our capacity to engage with the world and give our gifts and take care of our children. So self-care allows me, to live strong and long, stronger and longer, to avoid chronic lifestyle diseases that cause us so much pain and suffering of our loved ones, because they don't want to see us suffer, right? So it's all about extending our health span. And, I'm a bit of a health nerd, but not everybody needs to get self-care perfect. It's just about doing enough so that you feel vibrant, so that you'll have a sustainable long life. And as I look around, I see so many people who would benefit from more self-care. So I feel like my work is to inspire and support them to really get on their own side, to turn away from consumer culture enough that it doesn't depress them and deplete them.
It sounds like your own, the work that you've done in aligning your values and finding this path for living longer and stronger is bringing, purpose for you to also help people do the same thing, right? To turn inward and use their inner resources and values to live a more, meaningful and fulfilled life.
Exactly. Yeah. And so while my values around, say, plant-based, people may have different values, different reasons they want to be plant-based than my reasons, and that's fine. I want to help other people, develop their purpose and passions and values and live them.
Yeah. So helping people eat a more plant-based diet, be healthier, and then also aligning with nature inside and out.
Exactly. Yeah, because I see all these inner natural resources as nature. And so we're like gardeners of our own little gardens, and it's important that we tend to them. Like there is an aspect of duty, I think. I know that's kind of a heavy word, but I think of it as both a privilege to be alive and to honor nature inside us can be seen as a duty. I would even say maybe a sacred duty. And I kind of appreciate those two sides. I'm grateful for that. This is both my job and it's my privilege. Yeah. So when I was growing up, I remember the Geritol commercials. This was in the 60s, and there would be, some attractive cowgirl saying something like, "When you've got your health, you've got just about everything." Well, she said it a lot better, but sometimes I say, well, maybe I heard too many of those commercials, because I kind of agree that health really helps. Yeah.
Yeah. And as you said, it's not something that has to be where we're constantly pushing ourselves or feeling like there's this level of resistance in getting there, right? With your guidance, people can achieve the health that they want in a, fulfilling and enjoyable way.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's what inspires me, is to help people do it in a way that feels like they're just becoming more of who they are. It's like being a bud that's blooming. My last name just happens to be Blum, but I just turned it into my business name, Bluming Wellness, because it really feels like that to me. It feels like when I see people, I see what wants to bloom in them, and I want to nurture that. And then I want to help them realize that they can nurture it and feel their own power to do that. And with all the global crises that we're experiencing now, I really feel urged into action. So I'm kind of a shy person, and I feel like I've had all these desires to be of service, and I've kind of sat on them and not fully expressed them. But I feel like, yeah, this coaching that I love is my gift